welcome back to week 7, day 1. So I'm super excited because today we are going to be talking all about shapes. So we haven't touched on shapes yet much in first grade. So this is our chance to really talk about it and go over all that important stuff you'll need to know for second grade. So before we talk about the specifics of shapes, let's kind of name off some of the shapes that we're really familiar with. So we know about squares, circles, rectangles, hearts. Those are kind of the most common ones that we see a lot. But there's many different kinds of shapes such as pentagons, dodecagons, a decagon, trapezoid, stars. So there's all these different kinds of shapes that we will talk about eventually down the road. But before we dive into all the different kinds of shapes, we need to talk about what makes a shape be a certain kind, sides, corners, all that fun stuff. So I'm really looking forward to this today. So make sure you're really looking and listening so that you can learn all about shapes. So looking behind here at Mrs. Gordon, the first thing that we're going to discuss today is a closed versus an open shape. So with your hands, if you would with me, take your hands and make a circle, okay? So we have a circle here and it's completely closed, which means there is no gaps or openings. So make your circle, or you can make it like this. Now take your circle and open it up. Could something come in here? Could something go into the gap of your circle? Yes, it could. So that means you don't have a closed shape anymore. So if you look behind me, a closed circle means, or a closed shape means that there is no stopping point. It goes on, and there's no stop. With an open circle, or another kind of open shape, as you can see, there's a stopping point. There's a gap, which means the shape is not completely closed. So closed shape versus an open shape. So that is something really important to notice. So shapes don't always have to be closed. In fact, many shapes are open, which means they have a gap. So closed shape, no stops. Open shape means that there is a gap in it. The next thing that we're going to talk about today is sides that are straight. So if you make a square or a rectangle, so let's take our 2 fingers. So make 2 L's, turn one this way, turn one that way, connect it. So you have a rectangle right here. Now, our fingers aren't perfectly straight, but let's imagine they are. So here we have 4 straight sides, okay? So for our sides to be straight, that means that there's no waves in it, it's not curly, 4 straight sides. So if we look over here, here's some other examples of shapes that have straight sides. A triangle here, if you make a triangle with your hands, there's 3 straight sides. So that is so important. Now, let's look at a circle here. How many straight sides does a circle have? How many straight sides does a circle have? 0. If you make a circle here, there's nothing straight about it because it is entirely round. So a circle cannot have any sides. So therefore a circle has how many sides? 0. There are no sides to a circle. So that is one of the funnier shapes that you'll learn about because there's no sides to one. Let's look at this funky shape here. Take a really good look here. So our question we're answering is, how many straight sides are in that shape? So I'm going to give you about 10 seconds. Look at this one here. How many straight sides do you see? Remember, a straight side means completely straight. Can't be curled, can't be wavy. So how many straight sides in that third shape there? So if we look here, I can definitely tell that this curly side is not straight. Because remember, for it to be straight, it looks like that. So I don't see that over here. So that is not a straight side. But I do see a straight side here. It's completely straight. I also see another straight side here. So this shape has 2 straight sides in it. It might have had a third had this one been completely straight with no waves in it. So This shape here, our triangle has 1, 2, 3 straight sides. Our circle has no straight sides, and this little funky shape down here only had 2 straight sides. The last thing we're going to talk about today is corners and square corners. So I'm going to tell you that difference here in just a second because there is a little bit of difference between the different kinds of corners. So let's start here with a square. So a square, remember a square is perfectly straight. It matches up evenly. There's no changes in the angles. So a square, Miss Gordon can do this properly. A square is perfectly straight. So if we look up here, this is how you know it's a square corner, and this is such a fun trick. You are able to make a little square in the corner if it's a square corner. See how it makes a perfect square in each corner where I draw? That means this is a square corner. Let's look at the triangle here. Could Mrs. Gordon draw a perfect square in each corner of the triangle? Would I be able to fit a perfect square? I just tried. That doesn't work because the way a triangle is angled, it is angled a little bit more narrow, which means smaller, so you can't fit a perfect square in there. But it does have corners. It has 3 corners here. So I'm going to draw those so you can see. So my triangle has 3 corners. It just can't fit a perfectly straight square in there. So 3 corners, but no square corners. Let's look at this funky shape here. It kind of looks like a half circle or a half oval, right? So let's start here. Does it have corners? Yeah, I see a corner here and I see a corner here. Are there any corners down here in the bottom of the shape? No, right? Because remember when we talked about our circle? It's perfectly round. So can Miss Gordon make a corner here? Because there's no edge. There's no straight lines that connect. Remember how our triangle here, we had lines connecting, same with our square? There's no lines that are coming at a point together. They're completely rounded, so you can't make a corner. So we do have 2 corners up at the top though. So we did say they are corners. Are they square corners? Could Mrs. Gordon draw a square in each of these? Well, let's test it. Aha! I was able to draw a perfect square in it. So this shape does have corners. Specifically, it has 2 square corners, which means you could fit that perfect square in it. Let's look at our last shape here. We should know this one right away. Does this shape have any corners in it? Can Miss Gordon fit a square in here anywhere? That doesn't work, does it? It's perfectly round, which means no corners in it, just like how we talked about with a circle having no sides. So that was your little crash course today on shapes. I hope you really enjoyed it. I'm really looking forward to talking more about shapes with you this week. So make sure you check your Seesaw assignment so that you can complete your activity all over shapes. Hope you have a great day. See you soon. Bye.